How are y'all doing this Sagittarius full moon? Do you feel that energy of expansion? I mean, it's been building up for a while. Oh gosh, nose ring looks weird. It's been building up for a while, right? And I feel like we're just seeing the culmination of these energies right now. Sagittarius as an archetype is about what learning and exploration and higher knowledge and wisdom and philosophy. And there's this just massive, there's this shift, this collective shift that's going on. Um, yeah, we're witnessing a lot of socio-political turmoil. With that being said, as we're holding space for that, I felt like it was important to do a reading today for the full moon in Sagittarius. And this is going to be a channeled message, a guided message. I promise you, if you found this reading, if it showed up in your algorithm, then you were meant to find it. Like it was meant to come into your world, in your reality in some way. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. A.T. Marie. I am a licensed psychologist and I would say a psycho-spiritual practitioner. I've been studying various forms of spirituality and religion for as long or longer than I've been studying psychology. And I really believe in the healing power of integrating spirituality and psychology, and believe that like both can coexist, the science of psychology and science in general, and also that which we don't understand, through randomized controlled trials and experiments, right? All that to say, yeah, I'm here to channel. I'm here to be with you. I'm here to do a reading and hopefully share something that connects with you, that brings us closer together. So let's get started. First, I like to set the space with intention, with sacred smoke, to be in alignment with the Most High good and will. And I intend to put some timestamps in there. So if you want to skip this part, if you want to skip the meditative part, please feel free. But I do believe, as I participated as someone who engages in tarot, who reads tarot for myself, but also enjoys other people's readings, that when you connect with the meditation, you're able to really connect with like this collective consciousness that we're in together, and you'll receive more clarity in the messages that I share. So just lighting some Palo Santo. If you want, you can take a couple of deep breaths with me. Really breathing in the energy of Palo Santo, that cleansing, sweet scent. You can take another breath if you'd like. I like to do some shakes. I'm a Pisces, rising Aries, Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So I got a lot of fire in me, and it helps to shake. Okay, so I'm going to call in my angels, ancestors, and guides. I'm just shaking my sweetening jar. Let that sound resonate. Clearing the energy in the air for the Most High guided messages. Most High alignment. Good and will Ashe. So we've called in our guides. I've called in my guides. So let me go ahead and start recording. I'm going to try to record my hands at the same time, and so that way you can see the tarot cards. There are some tarot readers who talk about, they will show you the cards so you can connect with your own intuition. I will do that too. And so the way that this works is I'll be recording in two parts. The first part is going to be channeled messages, things that come through from the symbols of the cards, the images in the cards, the energetics of the cards as I tap in with the divine collective energy and also my ancestors and guides. And because I'm working with whoever's tuned into my energy and my own energy, I'm going to ask you to tap into your own energy, your reality, to also connect with those messages and connect with the symbols in those cards. So let me go ahead and get the recording started. So I have 4 decks right now. Oh my gosh, I have this beautiful deck that I bought from AK Press. Called The Lineages of Change, and it is rooted in some incredible wisdom. And I also have an affirmations deck. Let me see, what's the name? Purple Canyon Affirmations deck. And I have 2 more decks, the polyvagal deck. Polyvagal theory is a theory rooted in psychology, mind-body awareness, somatic psychology in particular, about how our nervous system is organized. And when I say that, I mean like fight or flight. We've all typically heard, oh my gosh, I go into fight or flight. You know, what your nervous system naturally does to keep you alive, you know, or I go into freeze. Like, think of a rabbit who gets really afraid, they will actually freeze. And that's a survival mechanism because if they don't move, that might keep them alive. After they come out of their freeze state, they tend to shake because that's what the nervous system is trying to discharge that energy. So this deck, I'll tell you more later, okay? I do a little bit of info dumping, okay? It's a little neurospicy in here. It's neurospicy, it's queer, it's cool. Connect with the vibes, okay? Maybe listen to this on the way, on your commute, you know, to and from work, as you're working out, as you're taking a walk, walking your puppuccino. That's what I do. I listen to like 5 hours of tarot a week. Anyway, it gets a little neurospicy, so you're gonna hear some info dumping, but I hope you enjoy. And this is one of my new favorite decks, the Oracle of Pluto, which gets into our shadow side and our animal natures. So what I'm going to do is kind of sense into which deck wants to come forth with the first message. With this full moon in Sagittarius, there's not only going to be a message for us for how to navigate this energy individually and collectively, but what I want to do is then pull cards from the decks that give us skills for how to hold this energy and how to support ourselves. So again, bringing in the spiritual component, but also bringing in the psychological component, because Sagittarius energy can be chaotic good, but it can also be chaotic bad. And I think we're seeing both of those. So how can we hold the bad, maybe even within ourselves? I'm using the binary. I don't believe in it, but I'm saying like the binary, I think both, and we all have our shadow parts, so we all have our light parts. Same thing with energies like Sagittarius, like different archetypes, right? So we're going to see this play out on the global stage. We are seeing this play out, but we're also going to tap into this energy within ourselves. So I'll pull cards, do an intuitive reading, and then I'll upload an extended reading. Yes. So let's go. Let's go. Let me figure out what I want to do with all of these different decks I just pulled. I think what I'm going to do is stack them for now. And then we'll start with our first deck, Lineages of Change. Whoop. Okay, we already lost a card, but probably has a message for us. Beautiful deck. So I want you to hold in your mind's eye, like, what you need to know, what you need to understand about the Sagittarius full moon. What do we need to understand about this Sagittarius full moon energy? Remember, full moon energy lasts the full 28-day cycle, right? The full lunar cycle. I hope it's 28 days. My brain's like, maybe it's 21 and you're thinking of menstruation. But I think that's both in, right? I don't know. Someone drop in the comments below, how long is the full moon cycle? But, you know, we work with full moon energies until the next full moon. And strangely enough, even though people say to sow seeds or plant seeds on new moons, I actually find that full moons, which are more of like the culmination, the expression of whatever vision of that sign, sometimes release and letting go. Sometimes I'd like to seed or plant intentions on the full moon. But full moons usually illuminate, right? They bring to the surface things that we need to see, witness within ourselves that might inform what we need to do when it comes to that new moon, when it comes time to plant that seed. So we already got a card. What do we need to understand? Woo! Gosh. Ooh, flying out. I love a card that flies. We had like 3 cards that fell on the floor, so I'm actually going to leave those. Ugh. Okay. Oh, but they're beautiful though. But I'm going to leave those. And we're going to take a look at what we have. Okay. So, and you know, on the recording of my hands, it's funny because the cards are coming out facing you and facing away from me. Sometimes I read reversal, sometimes I don't, just depending on the fullness, like what the full picture is of the cards. And sometimes there's more than one message. But we got first what we need to understand about the Sagittarius full moon. We got the 6 of fire. So just take a moment and connect with the energy of this card. See what it means to you. I mean, this to me is very Sagittarian energy. We were just talking about higher knowledge, higher wisdom. Sagittarian energy is fire energy. So, you know, it's a fire sign. So I see, you know, people being pulled in multiple directions, almost having many faces. And so if you, or many viewpoints, in fact, and if you know that the opposite sign of Sagittarius is Gemini, we know Gemini is the twin, but not to hate on Sagittarius. My dad's a Sagittarius. My ex-husband was a Sagittarius. I know some Sagittarius. Gemini may have 2 faces, but Sagittarius have many. The multiplicity of the Sagittarius is not the duplicity of the Gemini can be both mature and immature depending on how that energy is channeled, right? But the multiplicity of the Sagittarius energy, I really do think it's about being able to take those different perspectives and gain wisdom from those different perspectives. It's able to follow many paths and sometimes to jump to many paths because that is the divine plan. So again, what I think we're seeing on the collective stage is people making a choice, people being their energy, being pulled in many directions, even perhaps distractions, but also, you know, I'm just, again, looking at the expression on this person's face. Like 6 of fire is also 6 of wands. So I will also read the message in the extended that's associated with this card, but just from a divine symbolic place, I see someone who's grappling with a lot of different paths and a lot of different decisions. Fire in the tarot deck is typically about action. So what action are we going to take? Which philosophies are we going to choose to follow? Who are we going to decide to be so that we may become victorious and aligned? 6 of fires can sometimes, I believe, like represent victory as well. You know, the other card that we got for what we need to understand under this full moon is the seed of fire. And I'm going to hold these up together because, I mean, if we aren't getting a alchemical upgrade right now, if you're not upgrading your thought, your third eye, your wisdom, your discernment, I mean, this is wisdom and discernment. This is intuition. This is power of thought and action once they become aligned. So, the seed of fire is, I think, people holding that vision, planting that vision for a better, more just, more aligned world and reality, whatever that looks like for them. But that's not going to be without distraction, right? So let's take a couple of other cards, related to the Sagittarius full moon message. You've got some decisions to make. You're going to have a lot of different options in making those decisions. Grammar. What would my mom think of that? She's an English teacher. But, what are you going to sow? What are you going to choose? Which path are you going to follow? Because you have choices. You can follow distraction, or you can follow your own internal wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So, going to ask the angels, ancestors, and guides, going to pull one more card for us from the Lineages of Change deck. Ooh, sticky, sticky, sticky. Is the energy sticky today? I think so. What is it we need to know or understand about ourselves? Ooh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Clearly, I need to have a better grip on these cards, because either that or there's a lot of you tuning in, tapping in right now. A lot of intuitive people tapping in right now who have a lot to say. Want to be heard, want to be felt, want to be seen. We just got a flip. I love a flip because sometimes they don't fly. They heard me say flying was a bit too much for me, so they gave me a flip card instead. Okay, let's take a look. Ten of Fire. Ten of Fire. Ten of Fire. How do you feel as you look at this card? What do you notice? I'm gonna block out my face. I mean, if this isn't someone who has gone through a lot, someone who has found strength in their direction, someone who has remained steadfast and determined, who, I mean, has maybe even experienced like a shackle, whatever it might be. I'm seeing this kind of golden loop around her neck. The kind of ruby red tears falling from her eyes as she looks off into the distance. And I see people fighting. Ten of Wands can be this struggle. It can be this trudging through and moving forward. It can, sometimes I think Ten of Wands can even be like trauma, from a circumstantial place, like, what do we do when circumstances have become so tough that the only choice is to continue to trudge forward, even when we need rest, even when we need a break? But this is someone who is serene in their inner being, serene in their knowledge, serene in their wisdom that they can move forward, even though it has been tough. This person isn't looking back. This person is looking forward into the future. And so if we bring back up these cards and we look at the full story, I see, right now under the Sagittarius full moon, we might be pulled into different directions. We might be dealing with a lot of distractions. We might have a lot of different philosophies and thoughts that we're sitting with. But once we go into our inner wisdom and we connect with our vision for what we want to seed in this world and within ourselves, we will find that direction. We will continue moving in the direction that we need to move to manifest. Remember, 10 is culmination. It is the ending. It is right before the 0. It's, the 10 going into the 1. It is the end and the beginning, right? Of moving forward with that greater knowledge, that greater wisdom. It's where the journey leads us. So, I'm going to move these cards down because I think we have this message around like the full moon in Sagittarius is going to present us with a lot of different options, a lot of different paths where we can take many different actions. But how do we want to be mindful? How do we want to be connected? And how do we want to be discerning and in our wisdom as we see the path forward? The path forward might not be easy. It might not be smooth, but it will be worth it. We will weep. We may weep along the way, but that is a necessary, it is an essential release. It's us releasing those distractions, that old path as we forge on into the new. I'm praying for a break for all of us, and I'll say, and the full moon in Sagittarius is bringing us some different energy. So let's come back from the collective and go into the kind of individual. I'm going to pull a couple of cards. Whoopsie. Let me move this deck back. From the Pluto of Oracle deck. Again, one of my favorite decks that I've been playing around with because one of my favorite astrologers, Balmy Spirit, she said once, like, it is not that our animal side, our animal nature is not the same thing as our shadow nature. And I felt that, right? Like, the animal oftentimes has been over domesticated. It needs to be let loose. If the things that we're witnessing right now, people have a right to their anger. They have a right to their fear. They have a right to their rage. How we choose to express that is where we become mindful, right? Like, that's your relationship with your inner animal. But sometimes you need the animal. Sometimes the animal has been caged. Sometimes the animal has been kicked, right? I can tell you as a psychologist that if someone kicks you, violates your body boundary, that anger is your ego saying, no, I have a right to exist. I have a right to feel safe. I have a right to be respected. Bite back. And this isn't therapeutic advice, okay? Y'all are not my clients, though I love you. I don't even know you, but I love you. I hope to know you. First card out, we got the snake. Give me some Kundalini rising. I love it when this happens. We got the snake. Oh, serpentine energy. What is the snake? If you're looking at it from a Judeo-Christian symbology, you might get more of like the deceiver, the deceptive. If you're looking at it from a, let me see, like a tantric, now I'll just go with tantric, but there are lots of other Afro-Indigenous Eastern religions that do not, and spiritual paths that do not perceive the snake as a deceiver, but as the awakener. And what has been happening throughout this spread? Awakening. What is happening on the collective stage? Awakening. So what's awakening in your life? Something is coming alive within you that might have been suppressed or oppressed. The serpent is Shakti. The serpent is life force. The serpent is Kundalini. It is divine, energetic, and oftentimes, I mean, not to be binary, but that essential life force. Some people may say divine feminine force, but divine energetic force that raises from the earth's core into your very being, into your chakras and activation. See this card and be activated in a way that feels tolerable and understandable and integrative to you. See this card and know. So some of y'all are coming awake, and that makes a lot of sense because maybe your thoughts have been clouded and distracted, and there's been a lot of mental energy and distraction. I mean, think about it. AI, artificial intelligence, war, I don't know what the algorithm's gonna do. But I've heard YouTubers talk about them suppressing certain content. So, you know, got to play the game. But, you know, if you're watching me and if you've watched this long into the video, I'm going to assume a certain level of awareness and knowledge about what's happening right now. So, yeah, things are happening that can't be ignored. The way they're landing in our own bodies and nervous system. Woo! We got another one. I need a bigger office. Oh, God. Y'all gonna have to hear my 30 spine. Oh, what do we have? Hippo. Hippo. What's coming up for you around Hippo? I'm seeing maternal, protective, tough. I'm seeing not new to this, true to this. So not only are we having an awakening, but there's also an energy that's coming alive, right? Like what's being awakened within us individually and collectively is this like very primordial, powerful, protective energy. There's a lot of protection that's being offered right now. So we got our, you know, kind of overall energetic spread. Give you these again. We got our animal energy. Now let's get into... I'm going to do affirmations first, and then I'm going to see if the polyvagal deck has some guidance for us. But what do we need? You know, ancestors, angels, guides. What do we need to navigate both this material plane of maybe distraction and vision and strife and struggle, and to tap into and to awaken our inner snake, our inner hippo? Like, what do we need for care right now? How can we better care for ourselves? I am one of those clinicians who, I don't want to say machine gun, who does a lot of rapid questions, pancake, question sandwich. I don't know. Oh, we got a flip. Oh my God, I love this for us so much. I love this for you so much. And me too. Me too. You're going to see why I'm happy. Boundless joy. Boundless joy. I was hoping that my girl, crying her ruby red tears, you know, into this kind of gilded cage, this 2 steps forward, 3 steps back energy of the Ten of Fire. I was hoping that there was some relief for her, and there is relief for her, right? As she's representing us, because there's relief for us, and it does come in the form of boundless joy and focusing on boundless joy. I'm gonna read this, but you can read it along with me. Happiness is a wonderful state, but unpleasant emotions are beautiful. They're a beautiful, scenic path to greater joy soon to come. Please keep the vision. Keep the vision. There's pleasure in the possibilities. There's pleasure in the possibilities. There's pleasure in the possibilities. And what you do to cultivate joy today makes your nervous system more regulated, more expansive, more able to contain, tolerate, hold for yourself, for your community. These ebbs and flows allow me to appreciate the good times. I will remember my joy is abundant and never ending. Abundant and never ending. What else we get? Acceptance. You can't make this shit up. Acceptance. Right? With discernment, with acceptance of our current circumstances, we go into that discernment, that mindfulness where we can hold our vision and we move forward, accepting the things that are outside of our control, but using our mindfulness, our strength, our ability to move forward. I got to bring her up because she's there. We might accept the circumstances, so there will be weeping along the way, but that doesn't mean there isn't joy on the other side. Let's read this together. My arm is tired. To have total acceptance of others, I must first gain full acceptance of myself, so I allow myself to live as me. What's my vision? What's my dream? Not the distracting thoughts and philosophies I've been told I have to believe, but what feels true to me, right? Not how I want others to perceive me. Nothing I do is upsetting, embarrassing, and intolerable. I am simply me, and that is good enough. It's good enough. It's good enough. Did you know you were good enough? Have you heard that today? I'm going to tell you, you're good enough. You're better than. You're more than. Not in comparison, but just because you are. So we have some skills to practice to help us hold and contain this energy. Accepting what is. Accepting what is doesn't mean falling into despair. Acceptance means weeping along the way, grieving and letting go, and holding the vision for boundless joy. Practicing joy. How many people practice joy intentionally? I know that there are many days that I work that I don't want to. I'm going to be real. Shout out to my clients. Love y'all. But as a human being, I'd love to be sitting in a tree somewhere, eating some organic fruit, or eating fruit in a place where you don't even have to say it's organic, because I don't know. We're not building things that tamper with the earth and spoil it. Sorry, don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm building the channel and I just want you to know what to expect, right? Okay, I'd rather have that. Sometimes I go into tangent land. I'd rather have that. And I practice, I think every day, okay, what's my emotional goal? If I'm feeling zesty, if I'm feeling depressy, if I'm feeling lemon zesty, anxious, nervous, stressed out, fatigued. I also have a sleep disorder. I'll probably upload something about that. Circadian rhythm, like a sleep cycle disorder, insomnia that I've been dealing with since I've been in private practice. And that shit ain't nothing to play with, let me tell you. In those moments, I've had to find joy. I've had to keep the possibility of feeling joy, of feeling pleasure, even when I don't feel good. And that makes the moments like this, where I'm feeling really joyful with you, giving you these messages, sharing these messages with you, channeling with you, worth it. So let's see. What's some insight we need around the Sagittarius full moon? Caring for our nervous systems, our bodies, really. That's all it is, our life. I don't know if this deck will fly out like other decks. Well, it just spat out the information card, so I'll remove that. That's helpful. I guess just as I questioned it, it had an answer. I think it wants me to stop talking for a minute. There we go. Oh my goodness. Bigger desk, Asia. My little TikTok desk. Rant to release. Rant to release. What did I say about feeling joy weeping along the way? Can we add ranting to that? I'm probably going to upload a video somewhere, TikTok, Instagram. Follow me, The Pleasure Lab HQ, about anger, releasing anger from our nervous system, healthy ways to do so. You have a right to your anger, and it is important, and it tells you a lot. Rant to release. That is our skill. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to do this, but I want you to like maybe screenshot this. Okay, let me move my fingernails so you can practice this concept. What did this card say? I understand the Six of Wands, Six of Fire can mean like good things sometimes, victory, but it also can mean, we're just going to talk about what it means in terms of the channel. Like what I am channeling is that there is a lot of overwhelming energy, which puts our body in what we call a sympathetic survival state. We are seeing people in survival right now. Some of us are actively in survival right now. Some of us, if we're not in the actual trenches, we are witnessing other people in the trenches, okay? So we need to find a way to safely release some of that energy. So we're not spewing it on our friends, on the people we care about. But though, so we're also not spewing it in ways that are unmindful, in ways that make us just like the perpetrators of harm, right? So how do we safely release? Our offering for Sagittarius, again, fire sign. Other side is, ruled by Jupiter. On the other end, you got Gemini, Mercury. Of course, we're communicating. Of course, it's get your bars off, right? So let's turn to language. Let's journal. Let's speak. Let's sing, dance. Like sometimes I might make a video about this later. Let me know if you actually want to see like me practice some of these skills with you. I will conjure my ancestors in my mind, some of my feistiest, angriest ancestors, and I will scream with them. I will dance with them. I will breathe with them. I will with them. And not only will it make you feel empowered as hell and safe and protective, but it might also make you laugh. And then you realize, damn, why am I angry? Or I have a right to be angry, but now I feel in control of my anger, which means other people can't control my anger. Other people can't use my anger against me. Other people can't weaponize it against me. People are going to do what they're going to do. But the more mindfully we are in relationship with our emotions and experience, our nervous system, the more effectively we can live our lives, right? So ranting might be described as a loud complaint, but sometimes we need to complain. But it's also a regulating release. So how can we do this mindfully? I'm going to hold this card this way as I read it because my arms are tired. A rant can be written or spoken. This is your prompt. Sometimes you want to rant in private, and other times you want to rant to someone and receive a response. The only rules are that you release sympathetic energy in a way that is not destructive and moves you toward regulation. Experiment with different ways to rant. Identify the elements that contribute to a regulating rant for you. 1, environment. What's a safe environment for you to release this energy? 2, do you need self-regulation or co-regulation? Do you want to rant it out on your own? Oh, balloons. Because you don't know what you're going to say or how you're going to say it. Sometimes I tell people, say it the way you need to say it. Put somebody in the empty chair and go off on them. And then you remove that energy from the chair. And that allows you to get out and release that energy without the words actually impacting or harming that person. And then maybe you have the conversation with that person. So do you need to do this alone? Or do you need to call up your girls, call up your folks, call up your friends and say, who has the capacity for a rant session right now? Because I really need to vent, and allow them to witness you. Sometimes we need to be witnessed. That's a part of our nervous systems. We're social beings. We need someone to mirror to us that anger, that upset, that hurt, so we can feel it fully, so we feel validated. So environment, what's a safe space? Who's a safe person? And 3, I don't know if there is a 3. So here's their tip. Ranting doesn't solve the problem that took you into a sympathetic survival state, but it does help you release enough energy so you can find your way to regulation. From a state of regulation, you regain perspective, can see clearly, and can explore your options. And so 3 for me, this is going to be my question always, is what else? What else? Oftentimes, it's not enough to have one skill when it comes to regulating our nervous system. We need to chain multiple skills together. That comes from dialectical behavioral therapy. If you're interested, Marsha Linehan, look her up, look up some videos. But in just a little snippet, what else? Choose the environment. Choose self or with other. 3, what else do I need? If I'm in a sympathetic, which is your activated state, puts you in fight or flight, other states too. Maybe it's not enough to rant. Maybe I need to rant and then I need to go for a run. And then I need to have an ice cold shower because ice helps, coolness helps when we're in our sympathetic state. But, you know, just taking a look at everything, the message we have today. And I didn't notice that the 10 of fire, and we go from a 10 to an 11 to a 10. I genuinely think if we were to hold these, like, this is both, and this is both the struggle and the strife, and this is the wisdom and the intuition and that discernment that's going to help us make it through these distractions, make it through this overwhelm and this turmoil, and ultimately lead us to, you know, a victory as we accept what is and we focus on joy. And to get there, we have to release. We have to find ways to release. So that might be accessing your inner hippo energy. Please look up the symbolism for these cards. I'm going to actually go through and read and do an extended reading part 2 where I read the descriptions for all of these cards so you have that information. But always look into your own intuition. Look at the hippo and look into the snake. What kind of energy are we awakening? Protective, primordial, powerful, right? So thank you all for sticking with me. If you made it through to this point in the video, I am super grateful for you. Please drop comments below, questions below. I'm here to build community. I'm building this container, the Pleasure Lab, because I believe that pleasure is possible. I believe that pleasure is, you know, not the antithesis of trauma, of struggle, of pain and hurt, but the antidote. We need those pleasure pathways around all of the pain we're experiencing and witnessing. And we need to allow ourselves to engage in those things without guilt, with mindfulness, with freedom, liberation, and love. So, you know, please share, like, subscribe, send it to your friends, shoot it to your homies. And let me know what you would like to see. I do have some new decks coming, so I will start doing love readings. And my hope is that over time I start doing sign readings as well, astrological sign readings. But for right now, this is our collective message. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think of what I want the title to be. From struggle to release. Rant to receive. Rant to receive. Rant to receive. Rant to receive your inner wisdom, your inner guidance. Release to receive. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, send it, share it. I hope that you got some wisdom for this message, and I will see you in the extended part 2 if you want to know more.